Hello everyone, this is Yasmyne from the Freedom Geek. I am very excited today because I have another client who will be talking to us about his journey on finding a virtual assistant from the Philippines through the Freedom Geek. So I would like to introduce to you John Feldman.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Hi John, how are you?
Good, Yasmyne. Good to see you again.
Yes, very good to see you again. So, as we all know, I'm here in the Philippines. You are in California. We're doing this my morning, your afternoon. But before we do go into the interview, John, and talk about virtual assistants in the Philippines, please introduce yourself and your business as well.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I'm a landscape architect, and for those of you that don't really understand or know what that is in the context of my practice, we're focused on high-end and residential estate work, and particularly like with complex hillside work. So all those cool amenities that you might see or dream about or flip through a travel magazine that exist at a resort, like a destination resort, like cool infinity pools and all those beautiful lush gardens and those kinds of things. That's what we get to do for our clients, but at their homes. So that is one of my two businesses. So I've been practicing landscape architecture for nearly 30 years here in California, where I'm a native of. And we've had some other projects abroad. I've worked in Japan and in Korea, but it's been some time. 3 years ago, I got a taste for wanting to do something a little different, or in addition to the business that I've had. Ecocentrix Lanscape Architecture is the name of my business. And we're now 16 years old. But I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And so at the core of everything, I'm just itching to just do something more and something different all the time. Not selling out my primary business, but I wanted to do something that would help to supplement it. And so I started looking at things like Amazon businesses and some other kind of things. And I ultimately came back to the idea of e-commerce. And so my business that we're just about to launch, finally go live, is called Sturgiani. And what Sturgiani is endeavoring towards, we are a Italian manufactured, Italian crafted luxury faucet and fixtures company. So the faucets and fixtures and accents for bathrooms, showers, and even outdoor kitchens. And those are the products that we are going to be soon selling live. Here, online, come find us.
Thank you, John. Very busy man. I know you are very creative, and yes, entrepreneur at heart. But the question I want to ask you, so what made you decide to hire a virtual assistant?
There has not been a time as an entrepreneur or starting my own business, having worked for very large firms, architecture firms in the past, that it has not been challenging to wear 10 hats or more. So it's everything from errand running to the doing of the business to procuring new business to handling clients and so forth and so forth. It cannot be done by one person. And actually, I've never been just one person. I do have a team, but here locally. But there were a great many other things that. I'll just be honest, that kind of slipped through the cracks, processes that weren't getting developed, pulling a lot from our heads, and just as a small firm, just not having that bandwidth, not having the ability to build out automations and systems and take on a number of things that would really make us that much more efficient. In addition to that, trying to handle the primary responsibilities for the breadwinning company that I run, and then have it also helping to get the second business off the ground, let alone finding the time for such a thing, was nearly impossible. So I have a colleague in the space of architecture, and they had worked with Freedom Geek, and they couldn't say enough about the experience of having worked with Freedom Geek and the assistant that they had they were so impressed by. I mean, just they couldn't imagine having attracted somebody to their organization, which is really highly respected, and the capacity that they did and so forth to make their lives easier and to basically take them out from the position. And I'm basically speaking of myself right now. Instead of working in the business, being able to more globally work on the business. And that's what's so key as a business owner, is to stop, or to reduce at least vastly the, working on the minutia and really getting back to the big global picture to help to grow, which is, it's not everybody's want and desire to grow any bigger than they already are. Maybe right where they are is their cap. But we have a trajectory in mind for both businesses that still, even after 16 years of the first business, we're not even close to where we see and have expectations need to be met. So it's really with that we started the conversation with Freedom Geek, and that we went through the process, which I can speak more about at your next question, perhaps.
Yes.
But was really it's been just an awesome experience through and through. I've reclaimed some life in this life. It's not just about being a workaholic that I am.
Since we're on the page of the Freedom Geek and the process, I guess John, if you could talk a little bit more about what that's like. How did you find it?
Absolutely. So I mean, it's been a while. We've been a year into our process, at least a year. It's been more than a year since we first made contact. It's been a year since we started our first assistant. So if I think back, there was a process, there was an intake process, and that at that point, at least that iteration of Freedom Geek, there was also coaching available. So it kind of went in tandem. Firstly, I had an assistant that was assigned to me that we went through the interview process together. Freedom Geek, based on my responses and what I was interested in, finding in a specific person for my second business. I shouldn't call it second because I love them both equally now.
Yes.
They're both my babies. They will always be my babies.
Mm-hmm.
That it had very specific needs, and I have to be honest. E-commerce is a totally different animal than the service business that I have run and been a part of for nearly 30 years. So in the space of that and doing things, Amazon, the time that I was spending was largely outside of my primary business. The landscape architecture business was studying up and going through study programs and crash courses and amassing this information. What I realized is I really needed somebody that was just about as up to speed on these things, or that we could learn and train together. So that was my objective in the particulars and the qualifications for somebody, was that even though they might jump between the two businesses, I really needed somebody that could give some diligence to this, because I felt time was slipping. I had formed this corporation 4 years ago, or 3 years ago now. This is going to be one of those side projects that I got really excited about, that sat on the shelf and never got realized. And that's just not okay. And luckily, we will soon have the evidence that was not the case. We interviewed a first batch, a first round, and then we boiled it down to a second round of candidates, all of which were very well qualified. And the person that we had selected was in fact, it was so funny because as great a fit as she was, there were still things that just weren't evidenced in the process of the interview, and came to light after hiring. I mean, all positive things, meaning there were capabilities and interests, and just up-leveled our whole experience. And I was just like out of my skin, thrilled by that. So that's the whole vetting process with Freedom Geek, and the assurance and the comfort level that you guys as a company do your diligence to assure that the candidates put forth are absolutely top notch and really the best fit. We're talking everything from personality background checks to just list of capabilities and backgrounds and personality fit. I mean, there's no hard, fast guarantees that everything works out. But in this case, it really did. Yeah, that answers that.
Yes, no, I think you summed it up really well. I remember, because yes, correct, we do have a very rigorous recruitment process to find really good candidates. I've been working with the Freedom Geek for 2 years already, and I remember when I applied to the Freedom Geek, it took me about 2 days to finish the entire application process, and then you go through multiple interviews. So yes, it is really rigorous, but I love it, John, that you said when you went through the interview, the candidates were really great, but then when you started working with them, it became even better, and they started to shine through. Clients that I have interviewed before as well would report that kind of experience. So I'm happy that it's been very consistent, that clients have been really happy with the VAs that we have found. But I also wanted to ask you, John, because when we spoke about a year ago, you were really passionate about starting this business. A year later, here it is. It's about to get launched in the market already. But can you maybe talk a little bit more about how did you use your VA? What kind of tasks did you delegate to your VA to really help you launch this business that you have? Or what tasks did you delegate to your VA?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, luckily there's I can't remember it by name, but Freedom Geek has a 500 tasks that you can delegate to your VA kind of offering.
Yes. That is actually a product that we just recently launched for our clients. So if that's something that our clients wanted to purchase, they can buy through the Freedom Geek, the 500 tasks.
It's incredibly valuable. It kind of illuminates, shines this light on what can. My kid is past the age of needing to be signed up for baseball. What else? I can't have recruit somebody from the Philippines to go run to our mailbox and pick up packages and back. So what else is there? If you had to put your hourly wage as CEO to tasks, you got to think, is this a CEO level thing? Is this worth, if it is not, then somebody else in your organization needs to be doing that. I found that because I was so lagging in the startup business, that I really needed to invest the time with somebody there. We were working on what we thought was going to be an Amazon launch. We are not taking this product to Amazon. We are launching on our own website and handling it entirely differently than we originally thought. So in this capacity, this person was trained up, we'll say, in all things related to Amazon. And we learned together. We were just kind of neck and neck. We would compare a lot of notes. We would actually walk through and sit through videos together. And so, but back to what I said, I got a little nervous because I really thought that I was going to have to train this person in every single nuance of this business, which was, I was pretty fledgling myself. So rather than having to create a whole bunch of Loom videos and create SOPs myself, with my assistant, she helped to develop those with me as we got further into and co-mingled and co-trained and shared with each other.
Yes, I think that's one of the great things about working with a VA is that, because what we really focus on, especially if it's a generalist virtual assistant, we focus more on someone who is hardworking, willing to learn, fast learner, smart, competent, so that if you did change from doing an Amazon FBA kind of business, they're quite flexible and they're really able to help you with whatever journey you want to embark on. Any advice for clients who are quite unsure with hiring a virtual assistant from the Philippines?
Just do it. Take another moment to think about it. Seriously, it's the best thing that I ever did. I mean, we've added some high-level members of our team. See, luckily, for the landscape architecture business, we're working globally. I've got I have a designer, a younger designer in the Philippines. I've got designers in Eastern Europe. So we're getting quite adept at working on all sorts of different time zones, and that you just have to find what works best. There's so many tools now too, like I mentioned, Loom is a great one. Somewhere in between is yet another set of time zones with people I work with. But it's very tenable, and I would recommend it highly to anybody who's on the fence or not even yet approaching the fence. Think about it and get educated and make the right decision. And for me, it was the Freedom Geek, 100%. I looked at some other agencies, and you know what? I just didn't have that comfort level. You guys made it. You took any of that uncertainty out of the equation. There's a lot of just do it yourself, or kind of advice that I'd heard from other people in the, let's call it the Amazon community, if they were even going that far and had the good sense to hire somebody. Not a chance. I guess I don't know if that's exactly 100% in the depth of which you're looking for, but it's impossible to have gotten as far as we have. And I feel very fortunate to have these highly educated, highly trained individuals that are, it's mutually beneficial. I want to go back just a step too and say, not only do you do your diligence to interview and the candidates for employment by people like me, you also make sure that we're a fit for them. And I think that's really important too. So there's a mutual respect here. So I want to for me, it's really important that somebody feels that they want to be engaged on a level that, that I need, like, the kind of conversation that we're having now. It has gone a long way. I think the style of leadership that I bring has been very welcome and appreciated. There's a lot of business owners that just want to dump their businesses on somebody and have them do it, and that's really unfair. I'm not sure that everybody can answer all the needs of a business. In fact, I can't answer all the needs of my own business. So how would I expect somebody else to do that?
Thank you, John. Very, very well said. Well, before I do end this interview, one last question that I wanted to ask you. Is there anything that you would like to share to our viewers about your businesses, if you'd like them to, invite them on your website or so?
Website for Sturgiani is soon to be launched, finally. You're dealing with a perfectionist as a designer here, so it's me always getting in the way of me. So we're very, very close, and we're very proud of what we've created in this last year towards this launch. And then Ecocentrix, ecocentrix.com. It's a funny spelling, but you'll find it, on the show notes below, or on the side, or up above, or wherever you find it. Come check us out. We got some really, I'm not just here to pat my own back. We've got a great team, and we've created some really dynamic work over the years, and I'm really proud of where we sit today. If this ceased to exist tomorrow, I'd be very proud of what we've created in 16 years. And but the idea is that we've still got, a good 10 in us before I transition this to some other capable hands. So, but come check us out. It's some pretty amazing opportunities that here in California, particularly, that we've gotten our hooks into. So I'd love to share it with anybody who's interested.
All right. Well, that concludes our interview for today. Thank you so much, John. Really, really appreciate
Thanks, Yasmyne.
you being here today.